Welcome to class, everybody. Now, a little bit of a safety warning before we get started. You need to be careful anytime that you're playing with pencils, because one time in second grade, Sam, I poked myself with a pencil and the lead is still there. You got to be careful for that, buddy, okay? Just wanted to warn you. All right, we're going to start off with history today, and our history sentence is, tell me about the end of the Cold War. So we're going to go through this first, and then we have a special dance to go along with the song that we're going to teach you. So let's try to say it together first. In the 1980s, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Now, let's stop. Okay, so Leanne, what kind of hairstyle do you think Margaret Thatcher had? Oh, do you think it was very lovely? Like this, can we all pretend we have beautiful Margaret Thatcher hair? Okay, and let's go on. And American President Ronald Reagan. Did you know that before he went into politics, Ronald Reagan was a movie star? And so we're going to do a movie star by pretending our face is on a screen. So we're doing this, and then we're doing this, okay? So American President Ronald Reagan. I think you can figure it out. American President Ronald Reagan, they worked together to end the Cold War. End the Cold War. All right? And then they also worked together to lessen big government. And we're going to squat down while we do that. Lessen big government. And strengthen the conservative movement. Strengthen the conservative movement. And we're going to move. All right. So are we ready to do this as a dance? Yeah. Oh, we're ready? All right, awesome. So let's start us off. Step, step. In the 1980s, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and American President Ronald Reagan worked together to end the Cold War, lessen big government, strengthen the conservative movement. In the 1980s, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and American President Ronald Reagan worked together to end the Cold War, lessen big government, strengthen the conservative movement. Good job. Step and clap. Awesome. Great job. So there's our history. And now we're going to go on a little bit of a change of pace. I'm sorry. We're going to go on to science. Now, science today is the third law of thermodynamics. Can you say thermodynamics? Can you say thermodynamics? Can you say third? Third, very good. The third law of thermodynamics. And we want to be a lot calmer for this one. Like we're cradling a baby. Oh, now, Elise, you're my baby. Can I cradle you for this? No? Okay. Well, I'll pretend. We'll pretend to be cradling. We'll pretend to be cradling. Now, the third law of thermodynamics explains that it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature. Okay? So let's sing about the third law. Girls, let's sing about the third law of thermodynamics. The third law of thermodynamics explains that it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature. Now, you are not rocking a baby. Are you going to participate? Good. Let's try that again. Tell me about the third law. Tell me about the third law of thermodynamics. The third law of thermodynamics explains that it is impossible to reach the state of absolute zero temperature. Good job. All right. Let's run over here to Latin. First conjugation Pluperfect tense. Can you say pluperfect? That's right. Can you say pluperfect? Can you say pluperfect? Can you say Latin? Good job. All right. First conjugation, pluperfect tense. Ploop. Ploop aram. Ploop. Ploop aram. If you had an aram and you dropped it, it would make the sound ploop. I don't know. It's the first ending, so we just pretend like it's a thing. Like a ram. If you were to drop a ram, it would go bloop. If you were to drop a ram in like a pond, it would go bloop, and it would probably also make like ram type noises. All right, so we've got, if you were to take a ram and drop it, it would go bloop, splash, yes, and it would probably come out and like hit you with its horns. Not a good idea to like pick up rams and throw them in water. I'm not advocating animal cruelty, okay? Like a male sheep or male goat, like the billy goat's gruff horns, you know, ram. Anyway, well, those would be billy goats. Billy goats and rams are probably different, but this isn't biology. Anyway, ploop aram, all right? And how's the song go for this? From eris, erat, eramus, eratus, erant. First conjugation, pluperfect tense. That was really low. Can we go a little bit higher? Aram, eras, erit, eramus, eratus, erant. First conjugation, pluperfect tense. And if you were to drop aram, ploop, ploop aram. Can you say ploop aram? Ploop aram? Nope. Ploop aram? Ploop aram? Can you say ploop aram? Great job. We just watched a Dora movie recently. All right, so we've got science and history and Latin done. Let's move on to English. I like this one. English is about a conjunction. What is a conjunction? A conjunction connects, okay? A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses together. Yeah, okay? What is a conjunction? Let me tell you now. A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses. Words, phrases, or clauses together. Yeah. What is a conjunction? Let me tell you now. A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses. Words, phrases, or clauses together. Yeah. Good job. All right, so that's English conjunction. And now we're going to do timeline. We get a lot of war in timeline because what's the point of the timeline if it's not about war, right? Okay, so we've got World War II and Franklin D. Roosevelt. Can you say that?
World War II and President Franklin D.
Very good. And we've got Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn Massacre. All right, Julia, can you hold that one? You have the United Nations formed. Come on up. The rest of the way, please. We've got the Cold War. We've got Gandhi and India's independence. And then we've got Jewish state established, Mao and communist victory in China. Okay, now, wait, those two do not go together, right? Okay, now we're all gonna mix around on stage. Okay, mix. Okay, now we gotta get in order. All right, which was first?
Me.
Okay, go ahead.
World War
To Franklin D. Roosevelt, Stalin of the USSR, and the Katyn Massacre. The United Nations formed. The Cold War. Gandhi and India's independence. Jewish state established. Mao and communist victory in China. Stop! We never, ever go beyond timeline. We gotta mix up cards. Mix up cards. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, we're good. We're good. Okay. Okay. Are we mix? And we gotta mix each other up. We gotta mix up. We gotta mix up. Gotta mix up. Up. Okay. 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 All right. Who's first? Who's first? Okay. Yeah. Mia. Go ahead. We got World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Stalin of the USSR, and the Katyn massacre. The United Nations formed, the Cold War, Gandhi and India's independence, Jewish state established, Mao and communist victory in China.
We're like a jungle.
You wanted to go on, I know you did. Okay, so we've got that, and that's enough. Timeline's good. We know timeline. All right, now we're gonna do math. So I need some volunteers. All of you, this is great. Okay, so first we're gonna put this bench down. Okay. Don't do anything yet. Don't do anything yet. Okay. 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 Then we've got a stool. All right. Well, shh, don't get on the stool. Okay. So who's gonna be my A?
Me.
You're my A because you're my first child. Okay. And you're gonna be my B. Okay. And do you want to do it? Okay. And you're gonna be C. Okay. Now, what we need here for the associative law is we need some people to associate together. So let me tell you a little bit of a story. Once, there was a girl named A. A. Okay. And plus, there was a girl named B. B. Okay. Plus. Okay. And they were together. They were together with parentheses. Stop. A and B, you're messing up. Okay, so A and B were together in parentheses. No, C, you weren't with them on the bench. You were together with them, but you were in your own place. You are not on the bench because you are not inside the parentheses. And every day, Adele, when A and B came to the park, they always liked to sit together on the bench inside the parentheses. And C always sat on the stool without. So yes, we got a plus, we got a C. Okay, so the associative law for addition states that opening parenthesis, A plus
B. Get up here.
B, closing parentheses, because that's the end of the bench, plus C equals, wait. Now we got to tell the rest of the story. Everybody get down. Then one day, even though it happened over and over and over again, A arrived at the park early, and she decided that she wanted to sit on the stool or the bench, the stool instead of together. And then B came, and she sat down.
I am so hurt right now.
Okay, well, you can deal with it. And then she sat on one end of the bench, and then C got to sit on the bench with B plus B, closing parentheses. So there's still a bench, but now we have the other side. So we have to ask the question, Adele, are there more people sitting here? Are there more associates sitting? No, there are not, because our old equation was opening parentheses A plus B, closing parentheses, plus C equals A plus opening parentheses B plus,
Where's our plus?
we lost our plus. Oh, here it is. Plus C closing parentheses. Okay, so let's state it all together. So no matter where the bench is in our math problem, the answer is the same, right? Okay, so the associative law, stop please. The associative law for addition states opening parentheses A plus B closing parentheses plus C equals A plus opening parentheses B plus C closing parentheses. Okay, now we can do a totally different equation. Here, get down. We're going to do it faster. Up. Okay. Because this is for multiplication. Okay. All right, sit down.
Can I be A this time?
Nope, it confuses. All right, now we got to turn this. What? Crazy props. Okay, times C. All right, but we need it this way. Okay, you got the parentheses. Okay, so the associative law, we've got our associates together again, but the associative law for multiplication states opening parenthesis A times B, closing parenthesis, times C equals, get down. Okay. Boom. Okay, parentheses. Sit. Come on, C. Sit. All right. Okay, ready? Sit down, please. Okay, A times opening parentheses, B times C, closing parentheses. That's the equals. Okay, so let's say it all together. The associative law for multiplication states A times opening parentheses, B times C, closing parentheses. I did it wrong.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, let's try that again. The other one, the associative law for multiplication states opening parenthesis, A times B, closing parenthesis, times C equals A times opening parentheses, B times C, closing parenthesis. Whew! All right, we made it through science, we made it through history, made it through Latin, made it through English, made it through math, made it through timeline. Now it's time for geography.
Detectives. After Carmen Sandiego's shameless coconut heist from last week, we learned that she also has a taste for guacamole, made from the avocados of Central America. We need your help to track her down. No one does guacamole better than Guatemala. We have reason to believe that Carmen sailed there for the world-famous Guatemalan Guacamole Festival. Sure enough, when we arrived, we found her sailboat docked right there in Guatemala. Not surprisingly, Carmen docked her boat illegally, so the police in Belize gave it a ticket. As they were attaching the ticket to the top right side of her boat, we told them about Carmen Sandiego. The police in Belize could hardly believe that they had just ticketed the boat of the infamous jewel thief. They agreed to help us find her. In our search through the crowded festival, we met some witnesses who had overheard a woman in red say, "I'll solve the door." That could only be referring to the hidden puzzle door of El Salvador. Tucked away in a little corner of Central America, the door is a complex puzzle that must be solved in order to open. Locals told us that the door leads into the magnificent home of the Honduras heiress, a woman who recently inherited a large fortune. Unfortunately, we arrived too late and found that Carmen Sandiego had stolen everything and was smuggling the treasure away in a Honda van, disguised as a tourist in Honduras. We took off in hot pursuit, but lost sight of her. That is, until we heard her familiar voice call out, "Nick, you're agua!" Agua means water in Central America. Nick must be Carmen's accomplice, and a thirsty one at that. We quickly looked towards Nicaragua, and sure enough, saw their vehicle pointing south like an arrow into Nicaragua. The chase is on. Well, detectives, will we be able to catch up to them? Will we recover the stolen treasure of the Honduras heiress? Until next week, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?